Let's hope I don't fuck this up. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana. Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Skye? We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belonged to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. Yeah, we just found them. Ooh, this is a great trial. It really is. I'm still just like, what's gonna happen next? And I'm supposed to be the one solving it. She said, exclamation point. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're gonna accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Skye? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. Okay. Okay, February 24th, 10 a.m. They're already saying, It's an incentive? I don't know. It was, yes. It was. Alright, court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today, I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Okay. Anyway. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. They sure are. Oh, this guy. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. What? Ellipses from everyone. So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir. Oh, wait, no. Nope. Oh, nope. Now we're going. Okay. Sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Help me, sir. Officer Meekins. Yes, sir. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir. As you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. What is happening? We're all very confused. Witness testimony. Crime report, sir. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you? Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. Alright, we will cross-examine. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. Hold it. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. Yikes, now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. This horrifying thing. Thank you for showing it to us again. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very important mission. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? Meekins really is the worst. He gives me so much anxiety just being on the screen. I hate him. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. Hold it. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card. Am I correct? Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck. So then your ID number should be listed on here, right? There it is. I found it. This is the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir. It's 498-9596. That's my number, sir. I see. Huh, but the number 498-9596 is shown as being used twice. Oh, shit. 450 and again at 5:15. Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room, and the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. I see. So it was during that second time when... Yes, sir, that was when I spotted the man on the security screen. Data added to ID card record. So now we're just missing one person, I think, right? No cops, number one rule. Yeah. For real. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. Hold it. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir. A knife. Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. Yeah, no. That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life. Then I did it. Hold it again. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife? I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. I see. He must have been desperate. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood, and then the next thing I knew, Yes. He punched me right in my face, sir. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. I like that he got punched and passed out and then slapped awake. Hold it. About what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain. That's nice. Or, I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is. Wait, I think that doesn't coincide with that second usage of it, because I think it said 5:40 is when it was used. We gotta look at the thing again. Wait, we can look right now. Oh, 5:14. 4:50 and 5:14. Okay, no, that checks out. Never mind. Never mind. When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand. Punch, slap, then punch again. For real. He really is the worst. Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Yes, Officer Meekins? With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning. The chief? Delivered it? What is that? A videotape? Yes, sir, that's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. Contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room. Objection. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape and was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake. Yeah, that seems suspicious AF. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Shocking. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me. You're the one who murdered. A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Fucking Blue Badger and shit. They wouldn't really just have like two different cameras instead of this one that like oscillates. The Blue Badger song is annoying. Oh, that would be really annoying, yeah. I'm really bummed that we haven't been able to hear the music at all. Except for that. I like how conveniently this guy's face is covered, like, the entire time. Why would they have an oscillating video camera? Like, I'm so annoyed by it. But, like, the guy's body is, like, not there, I don't think. But also, he didn't leave, so I'm not sure. The flag is so convenient, for real. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood? Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir. We know. We hate it. Why am I not surprised this isn't going so smoothly? Security video added to the court record. Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter, someone in the evidence room, and some sort of, activity did take place. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that alright with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir, as you wish, sir. Mystery Man testimony. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir, so it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Yeah, so it seems like it was Goodman here, so then who was the one at the parking lot? Well, guess we'll find out. Okay, we cross-examining. His face can't be clearly seen in the video. Hold it. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife? Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter? The latter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you? Oh yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking with them, you see. Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer. Still, I'm sure it was him. I'll bet my badge on it. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. Hold it. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face. Sir, if I may say something, sir. Please do. After all, you are the one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir. Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? Well, I don't know. Let's see. There's a handprint on his face. I can't, like, examine it, though. Who was all sevens that went in at 420? Wrote it wrong on there. Sorry, at what time? The game knew its audience. It's true. It really did. Well, there was this weird jar that has blood on it. Hey, look. They're hard to make out, but there are some dark red stains here. Looks like blood. Do you think Detective Goodman's blood somehow got on this when he was stabbed? Not likely. This blood looks like it's been here for months, maybe longer. This jar was evidence in the SL9 incident. That might be when the blood got on it. Okay. I don't think there's anything else. Oh. Huh, this thing doesn't have a bottom. That's weird. I wonder which side is up. Better yet, what's the purpose of a bottomless jar? At least it doesn't collect dust inside, right? I guess. Where was that print located again? Which... Oh! On the locker right behind his head is where there was a handprint that had been wiped. Am I right? Is that the one? Or was it the one all the way by the door? This one. The glove fell out. Huh. I mean, we don't see a body, though. In any way. I don't know. There is something about it that's off. No, they're both gone. Oh, because it's restarting. Oh my god. Now they're both gone, is all I say.
This technology's inconsistent.
Right? The glove. It was a little quick for the person to just disappear like that, right? So there's already blood on that coat. Yo, is there blood on the same spot on that coat that the other girl was wearing in that picture? In this picture? Potentially. Potentially. The glove. The tag says SL911. I guess this is another piece of evidence from that case. You know, I never did care for the word tag. It's confusing. Huh? What's so confusing about that? Do you know how many other words sound like it? Bag, gag, nag, lag, zag. Is that a word? Do you challenge me? What, are we playing a word game now? Okay. Glad that was helpful. Well, I don't think there's anything we need to care about on this, but you could see it fall out. Is there a problem with the security video? I'm gonna say yes, but... But what is it? Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange. This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction? Objection. Interesting, Your Honor. I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out. Very well. Proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in the video? This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Oh my god. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman? Oh no. Hey Brad, yeah, it's definitely the DS exclusive one. Wait, why was the light already on? The light was already on!
Bum, bum, bum.
Rewind! Rewind! No! No! Pause. Pause, I said!
I did not mean to pin that, Brad, but you're
Pause.
welcome. I just meant to
Present.
step back in and say hi.
Take that. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Sir, do you mean me, sir? As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. The light is already on. It was already on.
Hey, Stu. How's it going?
It was just already on.
I'm Stu. Bun is in the background finishing up Phoenix Wright case file. We are working on the first
Okay,
episode.
we've seen this. Yes, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Which is combining a lot of ideas together from the previous levels. Thank you. How's it
When the
going?
victim reaches for the handle to open the locker,
I see you wrote this.
let's rewind to a little earlier.
We are working on
Rewind. Rewind before he even got there. The light is on. Here, notice the light. What's this? It's already lit. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Ah! Order, what's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. Objection. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered,
I'm getting excited.
and the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor. Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jammed the system's sensor? Something jammed the sensor? Say. There's something else that seems out of place in this video. Okay.
I played a little bit of it.
Lone cat. Okay. Bun's gone cause chaos. Oh my goodness. Can't wait to see what you've come up with for Bun 3.
Yeah.
Nice. Alright. Something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's gotta be another clue somewhere in this footage. Very well, let's inspect the video once more. Point out the cause for the locker not being locked. I don't know. It's just already not locked. And it's the only one. I don't know. Well, there's a glove that fell out. Do we think it's that? I feel like it has to be the glove. Bitch, I'm an attorney, not a detective, for real. They're not paying me to do 2 jobs. I think it's the glove. I'm gonna try the glove. Because why would it fall out like that? It must have been like in the latch, you know? Okay, please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Yeah, it has to be the glove, because nothing would just fall out like that if it was just stored inside the locker. Yeah, it had to have been jammed in the lock the way it fell out. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. Let's go through the whole video again, right? Please. Thank God we can't hear that guy's music like you said. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great distances when I open my car door. Okay. We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? Yes, sir. That's what we're talking about. What the fuck, Meekins, right? He never makes any sense. He's so annoying. He gives me so much anxiety. I've never encountered that with a video game character before. Yeah, the way it fell out. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Inserted, right? That's all I could think of, too. I think the internet has ruined us all. But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Huh, interesting. It's almost like it was an extremely thin rubber glove. Anyway. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. Huh, rubber might just do that. It would need to be an insulator. Oh, now we're using science, baby. Science. Yes, an insulator, but at that crime scene, there just might have been something that fits the description. But sir, by insulator, you don't mean, I think I finally got this figured out. Come on! Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? I'm really trying, but you're beating around the bush. Let's fucking go. I already showed it to everybody like 5 minutes ago. Present. Oh, now we use it. Science, baby, science. I can't see it with the quote. I found this near the locker, a thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. Exclamation point. I know, Edgeworth. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker, but that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. See what I mean about everyone repeating shit? Seriously. We're really just beating around the bush for no fucking reason here. Sir, it would appear so, sir. Order, order, order. You didn't have to say that 3 times, Judge. So are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke? Yeah, we're all wondering. Very well, begin your testimony. Mystery Man 2. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Yeah, but it was also found in the parking garage, so maybe there was a duplicate of the card. I don't really know what to tell you, because we also have one of his cards. An ID card record, I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. We've gone over this. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room? Thank you. This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I see. Now let us move on to the cross-examination. Okay. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. I just like to press everything, so I'm sorry if there's repetition. So unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you? Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give the V for victory sign, sir. Couldn't he just use his right hand for that? Yeah, probably. Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. Hold it. Is that card hanging from your neck one of those ID cards? Yes, sir. This card right next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it. But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that? Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me. Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Yeah, but what if you, lost it and got a new one, but really the first one wasn't lost? How do you prove that it was lost? Please proceed with your testimony. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? Oh, I think I just went too far. The problem with the ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show them what we've got. Yeah, I accidentally pressed too far. I don't know if I pressed this. Let's press it. Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to. Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman, what's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here. We've already established that a long time ago. So it is, Your Honor. Not that prosecutor again. Oh, nope. Okay. Okay. Anyway, it would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth, it must be so difficult for him. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. Hold it. Earlier, I believe you testified that... Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir. Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked? Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. Okay. I don't know what's going on. It keeps doing this. So I need to present something at one of these, but I don't know what. I think we probably need to present something here. I don't actually know.
Do you need help?
Do I need to just present the ID card? I might need help, yeah. And just show that it was found at the prosecutor's office crime scene?
On any statement but the first, present Goodman's lost item report.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. On any but the first one?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. We'll present this. Here. I guess I wouldn't have thought to do that. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. How does one use something when it's lost? For real. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. A lost item report. It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. His ID card, perhaps? And also, hold on, you can't see it really right now, but I thought it was weird that there was a number scribbled out on the part where it says ID number. Because he wrote 5'9" instead of 5'8" and like scribbled out the 9, and he couldn't remember it because he didn't have his card. So yeah, something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right? Oh, and I'll prove it! I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Let me prove it! Order, order. So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order, order. Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Oh, it is Ace Attorney music during Ace Attorney now. Nice. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is, well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Well, well, it seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means the murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah! We sweat. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Yeah.
Object.
I thought it was object. I love when you type stuff in chat button because it shows me how behind my stream has gone. It reminds me to refresh. It is helpful. Okay, let's see. One moment, Your Honor. Queen, your Phoenix Wright fucking emote is so good too. I love it. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing, and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder.
That's a pretty good segment.
My phone is like blowing up right now for some reason. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. How would it be unrelated when it's the same fucking victim? Please. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean, Your Honor? The defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh, whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify, what is his or her name? Jake Marshall, age 33. He's my age? Oh my god. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Oh, an ad's about to start. I'm sorry.
We might actually be at a quick break.
Oh.
Between the trial, if you want to take.
Yeah, we could take a break. All right. Why don't we take an actual break at this ad?
Yeah. Why don't you finish this and get to the cutscene?
Oh, well, let me snooze it then, because I'm not there yet, and it was going to go in 5 seconds. Okay. We'll finish this, and then we'll take a break in a second. He says, very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Oh.
Please don't take a break right now.
Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? Sorry, it was about to run the ad. We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. Should I pause it here?
Yes, this would
Okay.
be a good spot for us to pause.
This is where we'll take a moment.
Okay. We're gonna take a...
We love to see it. Thank you for the welcome back, Talia. Zorio, how are you? How are you? Alright, let's keep going with this. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Wait, Crunch, you haven't taken a nap yet? Have a good nap. Queen, thanks for the welcome back. I appreciate you. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma? You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh my god, you really are, Gumshoe. You really know how to make an entrance. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe. What is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, detective. You better be, pal. Hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey. I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. That's okay. Why do you say hey so many times? So, have you brought what I asked? Oh. Oh ho. Ho 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 ho. I swear to God, Gumshoe, please. You mean this, right? My apologies, detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them. I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case. Miss Sky was a witness? SL9 incident files received from Lana Sky. Files for the Joe Dark killings solved 2 years ago. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma, but why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as... the Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark... No. No, Lana! That's over with. No! Emma, wait! She ran away! Oh, shit! You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Anywhere but here. Sorry, pal. I'm out of here. Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth, not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't just be a coincidence. Of course it's not! We all knew something was up! Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Well, I'm gonna have to, because nobody else fucking did. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. So, like, am I an attorney or a detective here?
Yes.
What are the detectives doing? Why am I not getting paid both their salaries? I don't know what Phoenix Wright is getting paid. He probably gets paid more than I do. God. Better take a good look at this file. He probably pays way less for a fancy apartment. Sorry.
He probably gets paid much better than I do.
Save, motherfucker! I guess I should have done the save before the break.
Yeah, I guess so. That's how you were.
No, we weren't there, I guess. Just overwrite. Oh,
So,
nope, I said no that
think
time.
What you should
Yes.
probably do is get through this portion of the trial and then maybe start the investigation.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. and then we can wrap up sometime in the middle of the investigation, and then you will actually be able to finish this the next stream.
I know, I've been like finishing Phoenix Wright like 4 different times.
I think you also just chatted for like 2 hours today, and that might have actually
It wasn't that long.
It was about that.
It was that long. Who cares? That's allowed.
I don't care. I just am saying that
Chat was crazy. They needed to like let it out, you know?
Chat was out of control.
A little bit out of control. That's okay. We love them for it. I have fun. I did too. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Emma didn't come back. She traumatized by that shit. She was probably a little ass kid. She's still a little kid. Maybe not a little kid, but she's still a kid. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. A little ass kid. Okay. Witness, please say your name and occupation. Yup. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know. You're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. I know they did not let him bring that knife into a courtroom. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. Oh my god, sorry, my nose is so itchy. Like, my allergies have just been really bad. Oh. When it's, like, itchy on the inside. I smudged my glasses doing that. I need you to know. Okay, testimony. Day of the crime. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. That's not a testimony. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Who speaks to the honor that way? Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. An average Italian, welcome in! Love this Ace Attorney case? It's so good. It's very long, but very good. How's it going? Welcome in. He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? I keep, like, forgetting I'm doing an accent. I don't know. This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Cross-examination.
I'm not a coward. I just have to take a stand at some point.
My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. Well, of course we're gonna say, what the fuck is a bone orchard? How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them? What in the Wild Wild West is this character? That's what I'm saying, Storm. I don't even know. Nothing much, just lurking in between. Ace Attorney streams, nice. Is this one of your favorite games? I can see why, if so. Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. I don't think you get to just, like, decide you're not gonna do it. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. How do you work here? I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner, can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? That's what we all want to know. The question on everyone's minds. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. Used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? How are any of these people employed, for real? No, absolutely a valid question. Of course, back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. Sometimes it's easier to do the accent because he says, like, certain words. And then sometimes I'm, like, really trying to make it happen. I think is why it's not consistent.
Sometimes it's like, I can do like an accent.
I could do like an accent. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism? Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite, incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. How would they think that they're opening the damn locker then? Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down. He literally was not even there.
Which?
What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even angel steak lunches can beat that parlor's vongole sepia pasta. I don't know what that is, I'm sorry. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. I've never heard of a saloon that sells pasta, for real. Wow, my nose is so fucking itchy. This is usually where Edgeworth says, did you not want to raise this year? What even is this character? I really hate him so much. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall. That's right, partner, or as you'd call it, evidence.
Would you also call it evidence?
Right? If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone, everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I better up the ante. What does that mean? What did he mean by that? Did he say not all cowboys eat tacos? What the hell, right? I don't know. I'm very confused by everything about this man's character. Okay, so there's gonna be something I have to present. It's probably not on this one, but... Well, maybe I should figure out which one it should be on. I guess I never actually looked at this. Incident SL9, closed. Perpetrator, Joe Dark. Crime, serial murder. Sentence, death. Victims, Edward Jones, Edith Kirby, Jeb Bates, Jason Knight, Rachel Moss, Neil Marshall. Trial data, head prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, witnesses Lana Skye, Emma Skye. Investigation Task Force. Executive investigators, Damon Gant, Lana Skye. Head investigator, Bruce Goodman, Jake Marshall, Angel Starr. So how was she an executive investigator and also a witness? That's really interesting. These were his fingerprints. I think we need to probably present his fingerprints, but I don't know at what part. Let me press this again, because there's a part where he says that he didn't set foot in the room. I told you that ain't my style. Afraid I don't understand. I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. Okay. Haven't been in there in weeks. Interesting. So, I can't push it there, but I can go back to the one where I just pressed it. And then present, right? Let's present this bloody handprint. This evidence clearly reveals the contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. Oh. Am I too early? Okay.
You need my help?
Yup, because that was what made sense to me. So I think I'm like too far ahead or something.
Have you pressed all of his statements?
Yes. And then I tried to present something on the second one.
It says to present the SL9 incident file against the 6th statement.
Oh, well, I did the bloody handprint that's his against the second statement.
You're very far ahead for that.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That would be the trump card you're trying to hold on to for
all. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I don't have a 6th statement.
Then you haven't pressed everything yet.
I absolutely have.
It says, when prompted, say Neil Marshall would present the SL9 incident file against the 6th statement.
Okay, I've definitely pressed everything. Okay, we'll press everything again, I guess. Make sure nothing removed on the security camera. I've definitely pressed this one, but I'll press it again. Didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. Rubber glove, don't know anything about it, haven't been in there in weeks. 2 security systems anyway. I've absolutely pressed everything, so I don't know what you mean. Nothing is making him have an extra statement.
Oh, I was told that. On the fourth statement, present the fingerprints. I think you were correct. You just did it on the wrong statement.
Oh. Okay.
Sometimes that also happens where you are correct in what you're assuming, but you just presented it on the wrong statement.
Well, I mean, that's the part where I pressed it, and he said he hadn't been in there in weeks, so...
So yeah, the fourth statement, present the fingerprints.
It's annoying as hell. Alright, we'll present it. Objection. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or, to be exact, a handprint. Humph, listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. Objection. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood! Witness, what is the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? Explain that, right? It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall, about the blood-stained fingerprints? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Alright, we got a testimony on our hands. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. What? The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something, I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Alright, let's examine. Only natural for my fingerprints to be in the evidence room. Hold it. That's because you, how did you put it, pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Marshall's fingerprints updated in the court record. Oh, that it was on his own locker? One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. Hold it. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine, it's no mystery. Please explain. My locker's covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened the murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. Hold it. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? The blood stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Unrelated? They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast while the other's a type of murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. Oh my god, they're fucking like homophones. Please. Oh, I'm sorry. A homonym? I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. Yeah, agreed. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? Just threw that in there. How do you know that? Yeah, we all want to know. I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There's a blood stain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of our Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. I mean, we can't really say that the guy wasn't you. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? Oh, he added that. Hold it. What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? You don't know what a blind spot is, Judge? Places you can't see. The camera is panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. Right? This is like really bad security cameraing. Why are you showing so much of the ceiling but not the floor? We didn't see this guy walk in, just that he's in here. This was, yeah, no. No police department would have a security camera like this, but okay. Oh, I'm supposed to press it. Whoops. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. I mean, yeah, they could sneak away, for sure. It doesn't even show the door. Objection! We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. I don't think there is evidence in the video. I don't know. I don't think there's evidence. Is there? Is there?
Are you asking me?
Yep.
Yes.
Show evidence?
Yes.
Okay, I guess we're gonna have to find it. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. Conveniently the flag covering his face. Was there like a sideburn or something? I don't know. Well, there is the handprint on the guy's face, also. How could that flag have covered his face the entire time? There's something, but I just don't know what. I don't know. It's like on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't find it. There has to be something like telling that it's him. You think you spotted it, Talia? Trying to keep quiet, right? It's probably so hard when you actually like know. Does someone want to give me a hint if it's towards like the beginning or the end of this tape? I've never played this game, so my guesses are legit guesses. Very fair. Towards the end. Okay, let's watch it again. If it's what I think it is, it's about at the end. All right. Oh, I see it. It's this. Yep, I see it. I see it. Because we knew that that was there, and I thought it was interesting that it wasn't there in this whole video. I never saw it actually appear. Okay, no, I saw it. Thank you. I was just like, I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't know what it is. And then I found it. Okay, see this locker right here? How there's nothing sticking out of it right now? There's gonna be something sticking out of it in a second. So now we don't see the other body. And then suddenly... BAM! What's this sticking out of this locker? I remember that from when we went in there before. And I thought it was weird that nothing was sticking out that day. Okay. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? I'm not going to count my fucking words, dude. Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. 8 words, good job. Exactly 8 words, not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. 2 words, objection. Are we still rewinding? I guess so. Oh, the white cloth, it's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? This guy's so drab, for real. When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. And he would be the one very familiar with how the cameras work.
Honestly, this might end up actually being like a...
Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Right, and he's the only one who could have opened it as well, because it didn't have the light on the way the other one did. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb, he really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah, I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker? Now prove it.
Actually,
this one? Why are those lockers blue? Because that's where we found blood?
In favor of this clause, we're gonna add in diagonal clause. I think that's gonna be both more interesting for the platforming and also tying this together.
Now we're going back too far.
Can't add poles to this.
I think it's this. You say I opened the locker, now prove it. Do I have to present the evidence locker? That says that only the assigned detective's prints can unlock it?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, sometimes I'm too far ahead and then it like causes me damage that I don't need. Like, because I know what I'm talking about, it's just not there yet with me. A fingerprint sensor? How would he not know about that?
Sounds like it's intact.
We talked about this earlier today. Literally today, sir! The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. Happens a lot. You overthink it or you get too ahead of the game, even though you're right, right? Like, I hate when it penalizes me for being right and just like being too far ahead. Oh, you're too smart. Lose some HP. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. What do they think is locking it then, or opening it? So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Oh, you can tell it's getting real because we have the swirling blue background behind us. Oh, he's sweating. I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Oh, shit. Oh, shit! Order, 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 witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Ole, please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. Phoenix with the weird quips, right? If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright hasn't answered. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Wait, what's the V and the K?
V is victim spot and K is killer spot.
Oh. Is this right? He was opening the locker.
Are you asking me?
He was opening the locker. I hope I'm right. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Mm-mm. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Bun? Queen? I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman. Objection! But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. But he said he didn't see the face, Edgeworth! Objection. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted, and also that he didn't see the face. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Preposterous. Oh, geez, thank you. It sounded like I was saying, oh, geez. You were giving me geez. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Sir, this is the second time you've said you don't care for his beard, so I think officially you are complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Uh-oh. Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Oh, bitch. Eck, this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? Humph. It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. Oh my God, I don't know. I don't know. Like, what would the cloth be? Glove fell out. He hasn't even moved his other hand yet. Seeing anything. I have to pee. That's all I'm thinking about. So I guess I will run an ad while I go to the bathroom. Keep watching this video and tell me if there's like a hint that I'm not seeing. Because I'm very confused. Ugh. Tell you think you have it. I'm also confused, but like on a general basis, not just this case. Same. Okay. What am I trying to prove again? That he was there? That it was him? Or why he needed to stop at his locker?
Yes.
Where did the cloth come from? Is what I'm having a hard time figuring out, I think. The jacket? Maybe. Because of like the blood stain? That's your suspicion, the blood? That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Because that's the only thing that's really changed. Okay. He wasn't expecting to get this blood on him. So we'll present that. Right, I like Phoenix, I'm not a detective, but bloodstains are usually the sign of a crime, for real. For some reason you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Yeah, that had to be it. Not bad, partner. People really don't think of the holes in their story when they come up with them. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we? Is that why they tried to frame him? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright, it seems the time has come. Marshall's confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out that evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Cross-examination. Okay. I had to do it that day. Couldn't just stand by and let it die. Hold it. When you say it, you mean, do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with a transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner, that case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. Hold it. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera and the detective's ID card. I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because the rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. Wait, let me look at the record. We're not going to present it. We're just going to check it. So, I mean, who was that number that was all sevens? We still don't know. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a one-in-a-million type of person, mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way, with me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. Hold it. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is, on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Hold it. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is the evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer, this is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Thank you, Phoenix. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. I've only seen it as, like, zealous. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? Hold it. But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I better take another look at the files. So I think we have to present something on the last one. And I think it's the case files, because that lists everybody's name. As the investigators. I think it's this. I'm gonna try it. We have enough health that I can try it. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Oh shit! I didn't even pay attention to that part. Neil Marshall, are you related to this man? Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award. Now I remember, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. Oh shit. Lynn, I'm sorry you have to be at the laundromat still. Is your laundry broken? I can't remember why. Oh, there was a follow. Thank you for the follow. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right, he was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother! He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed, at least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Oh, fuck. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened to the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's gotta be more than just that. Yeah, for real. Come on, Edgeworth, you clearly know something, right? At least there's good signal here. I actually get video on mobile. Nice! Well, I'm glad that you can watch the stream and just kind of chill while you wait for it to finish. Hopefully you won't have to be there for too long. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office's parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. Objection. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Objection. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. Well, this turned off and I could tell. Oops. Sorry, my heating pad only stays on for an hour at a time, which is good, but also bad for when I need it on longer. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Starr is completely incontestable. I mean, I don't think so. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. Objection? Arg! That's not what I was planning on. I rest my case. No. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Hold it! Emma's back! Your Honor, wait. Emma! The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor? Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dart killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Skye sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright, with regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use, but still. If you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Well, I mean, the Blue Bandit or whatever guy was blocking that handprint the whole time. And he also has a handprint on him, which I guess wasn't in blood, so maybe isn't as big of a deal, but I don't know. I'm gonna say I object. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? Oh, Blue Badger. What did I call him? Blue Bandit?
Yeah.
Do I present him himself?
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, because it says was apparently in the evidence locker. Now, what about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force, defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Completely blocking that locker. Well, what? Gasp. That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. What? So that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me, I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma, on that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was put there before he got there and was from the mystery person that came in at 4:20. Was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in, right? But there's more. Just one moment, I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time, someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. Objection! What? That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim!
I refuse to even speak those words.
The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So many objections right now. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? 4 motherfucking 20! To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? This. 4 motherfucking 20. But, like, Officer Meekins didn't notice there was blood and shit in there already? Or is that the one that was wiped? Or they were both wiped? No, I don't know. Okay, it's this, though. It has to be this. Take that. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh, the ID card record. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Ah, no, I said 4:20. I don't want to blame Edgeworth. But it was found in his car. I mean... Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. It could have been done in 30 minutes, though! That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining, 7777777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 7777777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card, at least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who's a so-called executive officer. Lana? We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. Objection! That's ridiculous. Just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? Oh my god. With your cover-ups and your forgeries, that's how the prosecutor's office operates. Objection. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Objection. Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 7777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? We got Lana. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did. Lana. I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law, but before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't? I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. See, that's what I'm talking about. No. No! Order, 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 order! Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. To be continued!
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh my fucking god, dude. There's so much going on here.